Okay. Now, this episode right here might get me in trouble, but I think that these things need to be said. You know it's some shit when I gotta take the glasses off. So, yesterday I went to Echo Park with my cousin, right? And while we were on the Swan, it was getting kind of boring. As you know, in Los Angeles, those little swan rides in the lake where you just boating around for an hour and it's not really turned. There's no music playing, no nothing like that. It's just like an LA tourist thing, right? So we had an idea to start filming some content. It was like, let's go around, ask people some questions or something like that, right? And let me remind you that this is on the other side of Los Angeles, so there wasn't a lot of black people. Besides me and Cali, I only saw there was only one other group of black people, and it was three girls, right? There was probably about like a year or so younger than me, probably like late teens, early 20s, right? And they got on the Swan ride, behind us. And I remember Callie saying something. He was like, yo, we should ask them if they want to make some content with us, just bring them into the videos, try, commingling with them. And my spirit initially was like, nah, I don't think I really want to do that. I'm okay. Because I had made a comment beforehand. It was like, I kind of know which women to talk to just off their energy. Because I say about 10 minutes before that, I saw a girl with a tripod and I asked her, it's like, oh, what you do, what you film, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she was telling me, that gave me the energy and it gave me the signal that this is somebody that I probably need to talk to, but I wasn't getting it with these particular females or women, in other words. Fast forward back to the Swan ride. We're boating around and it's time to film the content. And the question that we had was, what's something that you're grateful for? We didn't do anything perverted. We didn't do anything weird. We didn't do anything deep. We didn't do anything like that, right? We start boating around. We get to one group of people. They're like, oh, I love my friends. I'm grateful for my friends and, family, all that type of stuff. We get to another person, another group of people. They say, oh, I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my house. And not to become hyper specific, but I feel like that this is relevant to the story. These were Hispanic/white people that we were talking to, right? Now, the one group of black people that we saw was in that Dove. It's like, hey, let's go, let's go ask them, let's go be fun. We pull up, get next to them. And I asked him the question, and I kind of want to put the video on screen, but I kind of also don't want to, blast him because he asked not to be on video, so I'm kind of going to respect that. But they was like, as soon as they saw what we were doing, they started screaming, oh my God, no, we don't want to be on video, and they started paddling head fast and run away like they literally made it like a whole scene. They could have asked like, oh no, we're okay, we don't want to be on video, or something like that. They literally made it like a whole oh, whoa, and it rubbed me a little bit wrong, because it seems like when it comes to our own people, between the dynamic between black women and black men, it's so difficult, and it really hurts my spirit to say these things sometimes, because I've been looking for my black queen, etc., for a while now, but the longer I go down that route, it just seems like there's trauma there that I don't necessarily know how to address. The reason why I say I don't know how to address it is because I know these things came from generations. It came from slavery. It came from things that happened before that, different patriarchy. And there's so many different elements as to why our relationship between each other is terrible, but there's a clear differentiating, factor in the ways that other races treat us. And I know we sound kind of crazy as black men when we say this, they're like, oh, well then go to another race or go do this, whatever the case may be, yada, yada, yada. The ones who are going to these other races, I don't think you guys are realizing they've usually tried over here and they got looked over, they got treated a certain way, especially as a black male. When I was very nerdy growing up, so I wasn't able to get a lot of women in the first place, right? Because they were looking at the more thuggish ones, the athletes, the ones that were just doing something, I was the one that was going home playing video games, minding my business, playing Minecraft and Call of Duty and stuff like that. I wasn't really getting chose. Or, it's the complete other dynamic where they're looking for some type of baller, some type of, super highly successful, and it's just so many things that they ask for or have a problem with that doesn't necessarily equate to where the average black male is at. Not every black male is going to be in a position where he's thriving. I'm not saying it's not an option for him, but we have to acknowledge an anomaly as an anomaly and stop trying to fit or compare everybody to an anomaly. If we compared everybody to an anomaly, that's why we have the mental health issues that we have right now. And that's why things aren't going as smoothly as it needs to. You know, all these broken households, man, this is the most broken households I've ever seen. And we act like it's normal. We're acting like multiple baby mamas is normal. We're acting like only seeing your kids during the summer is normal, or on the weekends is normal. We've literally accepted brokenness. We've gotten to the point where we openly tell each other, I just want to have fun. I don't even want a relationship, because we've been so hurt. We've been so damaged from the past that's the go-to. We don't even want to get in relationships anymore. Do you understand what that does to the psyche when you get to a point where you're like, I'd rather be lonely than have companionship with the other side of my divine frequency that God gifted us? That is insane. That is crazy. And this loneliness epidemic that we're going through is in so many facets. And, you know, I'm pretty sure I know white people, Asians, brown, Latinos, everybody else goes through these things. I know. But when it comes to my people, the people of color, we have to figure out ways to talk to each other. We have to figure out ways to coexist and actually love each other. We go into it with our guards up because of bad experiences. You know, when you take all the trauma that happened to our generations back and then add on that little F-boy who messed you over in high school or college, man, you gon' feel like nobody's for you. You gon' feel like the whole world is against you because you're feeling things that happened to you before you were even here. That's causing so much divide in our households and in our families. And until we address those things, it's only going to get worse, you guys. So please take it from me when I say I want to see us do better. I want to see us love each other. I want to see us get in situations where we don't hate each other. I want to see more loving relationships. And I also want us to understand why some men of color are not dating within their race. I want that to also be normalized as well. I want it to not be he's a pygmy, he's a sellout, he's going against the grain. I want you guys to open your eyes to the frequency of love and take the barriers off of it. There's a lot of instances where we will look at another race and accept them quicker than ourselves. I'm almost certain there's certain times where if a black man was to approach a black woman, she would automatically get on defense. But if a white man approached that same black woman, she would be a little bit open with curiosity. You guys do it too. And it's because of all the trauma that we have packed into us. This is my program. Going outside of your race and going outside of your culture is nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with that. But there's definitely a problem if you're going outside of your race solely because you don't like your own. That's where the line needs to start getting drawn. But yeah, other than that, that kind of completes, that little story time. We didn't really say anything else to him. We didn't even try going in that arena with him, try talking to him, anything, because it just threw off the energy. And it was like, wow. I would have really loved to get some love from my people. But, you live, you learn. That's life. I'm not saying everybody's broken. I'm not saying every black person, every person of color, melanin has some problems. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there is a lot of us on both sides that need a lot of healing. So, with that being said, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, stuttering. Peace.